get into some good math. Raise your hand if you love Common Core math this year. All right. The math. Our first activity, you have number 46 on your table. With your table, just talk about everything you know about the number 46. Anything to describe the number 46. I'm going to give you 1 minute, and then I'm coming around to each table. All right, time's up. Let's come around. I want to know everything you know about 46. Let's start back here in the back. Should be easy. Even number. Right here.
It's under the G's in bingo.
I love it. Very good. All right. Right here.
4, 10, 6, 1.
4, 10, 6, 1. That's what my thing stop there. Right here.
So multiple of 2.
Multiple of 2. Right here.
Multiple of 4.
Multiple of 4. Okay.
Rounds to 50.
Rounds to 50. Right here.
It's a number. All of them.
There's a lot more about 46. Come on now. Dig deeper. Dig deeper.
46 ones.
46 ones. Right here.
4 less than 50.
4 less than 50. Right here. Tell me what you just said.
Cannot be divided by only 46 and 2.
23, 2. So you're telling me all the facts.
Sorry. 46 and 2.
Okay, y'all don't get nervous because this is math, okay? Relax. Everybody relax, okay?
So
We want get all those factors. So that's one thing we want our students to be able to do. Describe a number in many different ways. So think back to when we were in school. And you say, well, I did the old traditional math and I turned out fine. But you really can't tell. Back in the day, you probably couldn't tell me all that stuff about 46. Okay, you probably wouldn't even say 4, 10, 6, 1. We want our students to always talk about place value. That is so, so very important. So, why did we move to Common Core? The Common Core standards for math, they focus on conceptual understanding, thus enabling teachers to take the time needed to teach core concepts and procedures well. They start in kindergarten. They have to be able to count to 100, and then they need to be able to count from any number. If I say 46, they should be able to count on. They can always start at 1 in kindergarten, okay? So we want to try to build that starting in kindergarten. When we were in school, tell me how your teachers told you to add. Someone raise your hand. What did your teachers tell you to do? If you're adding 2 digits plus 2 digits, what did they say?
Carry the 1.
46 plus 46?
Oh,
use your fingers.
Oh, I didn't hear you say 46.
6 plus 6.
2 digits plus 2 digits.
Okay.
What did they tell you to do?
Line them up.
We said line them up.
One on top of the other.
Okay.
Right.
Line them up. Line what up? Did they say line the ones and line the tens, or they just said line them up?
You add your ones first.
Just line them up. Where you have to start?
You add your ones first.
You have to start to the right. Did they call it ones? They said start to the right. We don't do that anymore, okay? That's fine. That's called traditional addition, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. Common Core doesn't say it's wrong, so don't shoot me. Common Core doesn't say it's wrong. Common Core is saying there are different strategies for students to really understand what a number means. If I'm adding 432 plus 268, I can start in the hundreds column because I understand hundreds, tens, and ones, and I can put it together. So I want to show you this quick partial sums addition video, which is an important strategy that you will go back to the classroom and learn if you're in first grade or second grade. I want to show you this quick video. If you click on it, Miss Sally.
$3,000 plus $2,000 equals $5,000. 400 plus 200 equals 600.
Notice that she's not lining up her numbers.
50 plus 20 equals 70.
She's not saying 5 plus 2.
And 8 plus 7 equals 15. So the answer is, it will equal 5,670, 80. That would have to be 85.
Okay, one more.
7,000. 700. Plus 15. Seven thousand 700. Wait.
Okay. If I say 10 less than 46, they should automatically know 36. Okay. So what they're doing is taking 1 away from that 10's place value. That's what we're trying to get them to do in first grade. So if you have a first grader, really work on that with them. They do measurement, lengths, and geometry in first grade. These are some addition strategies. A lot of you seen the number lines in first grade, and you're like, what is this? Okay? This is not how I learn how to add. This is an open number line. You start with the largest number, such as 42, and you're jumping. You don't want them to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 39 jumps. You want 3 big 10 jumps, and then you want, what is that? I can't see. You want them to do 5 and then the 4 more, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're chunking the numbers so they can get to the answer using a number line. Another thing, partial sums. 39 plus 42. They're adding the 30 and the 40. We don't say 3 plus 4. That's a 30 and that's a 40 because they're in the tens place. So 30 plus 40 is 70 and 9 plus 2 is 11. And then you put 70 and 11 together. And that's more moving toward mental math. Okay? So y'all get some of this in the first grade session. So don't be afraid yet. Okay? Oops. Second grade, same thing. We're expanding on base 10 notion, adding and subtracting, but they go to hundreds place value. So you're working with hundreds, tens, and ones. Building fluency with addition and subtraction here. Okay, you want them to be faster with adding and subtracting, just like single digits. Okay. Also, standards units of measure and shapes. So if you go to Miss G today, if you're in second grade, you're going to go see Miss G. And she's going to work on the same strategies first grade. Number line, partial sums, decomposing numbers, which is taking numbers apart, and compensation. Third grade. One of the critical areas in third grade is multiplication. Here we come with the facts. And if you have a child going to third grade, if you're a second grader this year, please start practicing the facts over the summer, okay? Because multiplication facts, that's big in third grade. We want them to know all their multiplication facts, their basic multiplication facts, okay? develop an understanding of multiplication and division because they have to multiply and divide within 100. If I do 40, they should be able to do 48 times 3 in third grade, okay? And not write 48 3 times and count all those dots. Okay, we've got to move away from that. They're going to multiply 40 times 3 and then 3 times 3 and put those together to get math.
Before you go there, for those who are going into third grade next year, so what factors should they be focusing on so when they come back in August, they should be ready? So
They have to know 0 through 10 facts. But here at Harmony Leland, they have to know through 12.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, just to start, by August, they need to know by 12?
By
12?
10.
By 10.
That's their standard. But we push them further at Harmony Leland in third. They have to know through 12.
Multiplication facts?
Multiplication facts, yes. 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, 1
All,
times... All the way up,
10.
yes. The standard is 10, but at Harmony Leland, we do 12. Okay?
What did you say, Ms. G? What was Ms. G's question?
Did you say something, Ms. G?
Okay.
All right. They use something called distributive property in third grade. What distributive property is doing, you're taking that 48 and you're breaking it down by place value, which we call expanded form. 40 plus 8. And then you're just going to simply distribute it with the 9. So you multiply 40 times 9. Students don't know 40 times 9, but they should know 4 times 9. Okay? 4 times 9 is 36. Put the 0 on the end because we know that we work on the base 10 place value system. Then you multiply 8 times 9 and you bring those down and add them together. That is how we multiply in third grade. Okay? We didn't do this in our school. So this is new. Don't tell them, I need to see it vertically. No, we're going to give it to them horizontally. And they need to be able to do distributive property. Okay?
So normally it's going across. Y'all do it that way?
We do it that way to discourage them from doing it traditional way. Okay?
Y'all are blowing our minds. We're going to do it. Y'all taking us up.
We're building an understanding. Yes.
If they've learned the traditional way, they still have to be able to express it this way.
Yes, they do. Good question. He said they learned the traditional way, which I'm sure y'all probably taught them the traditional way. They still have to be able to explain and express it this way.
And did you
Because
say-
that's the standard.
Ms.
Being
Brown-
able to break it apart, distributive property.
Did you say why we're doing this? Have you already gone over that
Yes,
yet?
to build an understanding of place value. Okay, because when we were in school, we didn't understand why we carried something somewhere, and we borrowed from some sugar from somebody. We didn't know what we were doing. And we just followed the procedure. Not that it was wrong, but we want them kids to understand hundreds, tens, ones. Okay, they have a place in this world. They mean something special. $1,000 bill is different from a $100 bill. Okay, all right, they're different. Fourth grade. They do more with multiplication and division in fourth grade. Also fractions, they get into a lot with fractions in fourth grade. So if you have a child going to fourth grade, know that that is coming. Also geometry again. So that's big in fourth grade. So if you're going to fourth grade today, you'll be with Ms. Grizzle. And she's going to talk about partial product multiplication and partial quotient division. Okay? So she's going to show some strategies on how to multiply and divide larger numbers. If you're looking at 75 times 49, you're going to take that and you're going to do 70 times 40, then 70 times 9, then 5 times 40, and then 5 times 9, then put them all together. Okay? Now, fifth grade. Y'all can breathe when you get to fifth grade because we will have built all that conceptual understanding, and then they can go to the traditional method. Okay? They'll understand. They can do traditional math because they can be able to explain why they're doing certain things. So if you can breathe in fifth grade. So if you're going to fifth grade today with Ms. Washington and Ms. Arnold, they're going to go over some, even though kids are learning traditional method, there are some errors such as when you have a remainder, it cannot be bigger than your divisor. Okay? Or you've done something wrong with traditional math.
Well, tonight what we're going to do is an overview of writing.
so that as a parent you can have some understanding of what your son or daughter needs at home to help and assist them with writing, to make, you know, the transition a little bit more easier. Because I know a lot of times when we're writing, a lot of us usually get confused when we're writing because most people write as they speak. And now with technology has advanced so much, children text, they use the computer, they use spell check, everything is done in technology, so no one really actually has the time to actually handwrite. When we went to school, remember we did a lot of handwriting, we graded on our penmanship, we had to write essays, and even to get into college we had to write essays. So now with technology, the way it is advanced, it seems that a lot of our children are not able to write. They're not able to get their thoughts across because we don't really speak that much when we think about it. Because the television, the video games occupies a lot of our time, so we're not really speaking. But with the new standards, writing is very important. Because what has happened, our children that are graduating from the public school systems, they're not able to write. They're not able to write essays to get into college, and a lot of them take a lot of remedial courses because they're not college career ready. So with the new Common Core, they're trying to increase our students' chances of being able to go globally complete with students across the nation. So today we're going to do what we call an overview of writing. So as a parent reflection, how are you feeling about writing at home with your child? Just for a minute, just take 2 minutes. Talk about how you feel about writing at home with your child at your table, and then we're going to share out. Okay, let's take a minute and let's think about that reflection. We all know what reflection is. We take a moment and we reflect, we think, we ponder. So when you think about how are you feeling about writing at home with your child, how many of you have a kindergarten? Okay, from the kindergarten parents, tell me about when your son or daughter is at home writing. How do you feel about the writing that they're doing at that stage?
Well, we were talking about what is that mixed spelling? Mixed spelling. So at first I was like, okay, what is this? But, I'm sorry, I had to.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, I was trying to get used to understanding what she was writing. But I guess as long as they have the first sound of the word, whatever, and the ending at the end of the word, even though it may not be spelled correctly, as long as they're, doing that, I guess.
Okay, how many of us in here as parents are guilty of, that word doesn't look right. Spell that word over. Nope. Erase it. Erase that word. Or you take the pencil yourself and you erase. You're erasing their thoughts. You are really erasing their thoughts. Because with time, they are going to develop to where they will be able to self-correct themselves. And it's hard for me as being a reading specialist. My daughter writes the way she spells now. She's a phonemic speller. And some of the words, I have to learn how to turn my head because I want to say, that's not the way you spell it. It's not in the dictionary. This is not the American dictionary. You're spelling it wrong. Spell it right. But that's how they're learning. And when we begin to do that, what we do is we shut down their thought process. And our children need to be able to think and have thoughts to be great writers. They need grammar. They need spelling. They need to know what a paragraph is. But most important, they need thoughts. Because if you give me a topic about a cell phone and I don't have a thought process, guess what's going to happen? I might only have 2 statements. You have to let them flow. You have to let their thoughts build. How many of you have a 5th grader? Okay, a 5th grade writing. 5th grade writing, Ms. Jones. How do you feel now about 5th? You don't want to see phonemic spelling, right? Right, because you know what has happened at that time, they have developed. By the time they really, truly hit about 3rd grade, they're no longer doing phonemic spelling. Sometimes in 2nd grade, depending on the child, they might still do a little phonemic spelling, but we really want phonemic spelling to be moved out the way by the time they hit 2nd grade. And definitely by 5th grade, because the 5th grade writing assessment is very crucial for 5th grade, 8th grade, and 11th grade. We really don't want any phonemic spellers. But it is a progression. And when you look in your folder, you will see what I have done is I created the progression so you can see from K through 5th grade. And you can see what they require from each grade level. Can someone of a 1st grader raise their hand? Okay. Tell me about a writing you see at home. Are you seeing 1 to 2 sentences or 3 to 4?
not enough detail. So I mean, just a few sentences, but just not enough. Very straight to the point, no details.
And details usually means that a person is lacking their thought process. Because usually when your thoughts are altered, it's sort of hard to actually have great details. Okay, so in kindergarten, we're seeing about 2 sentences. First grade, we see about 3 to 4. Second grade, now we're about 4 to 5. Okay, a third grader. Okay, how many sentences does Ms. Hudson require?
6.
6, okay. A fourth grader. Anybody with a fourth grader here? Okay. How many sentences are you seeing? Now you're not just seeing sentences, you're seeing actually, by the third grade, you're actually seeing what?
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs. Even in second grade, you should start seeing paragraphs. Okay, fourth grade, you're seeing about 2 to 3. In fifth grade, what are you seeing? A paper. You're seeing a paper by the time they get to the 5th grade, so that's how the progression goes. So when we begin to, like take their thoughts and we close them up because we don't think it makes sense, it can sometimes put them in a writer's block where they're not able to allow their thoughts to flow. So we have to be mindful when we begin to tell them, that don't sound right, that doesn't make any sense, it's not making a connection, because we want to keep the writing thoughts flowing for them to be able to become a great writer. Okay, so now, anybody want to share about how they actually really feel about assisting their child at home with writing? What are your thoughts? What do you think you need to really assist your son or daughter at home with writing?
So if you don't do the grammatic corrections and you don't try to have you get them a writer's block, what do? I mean, should you just sit there and just...
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you're correcting them, we have to be a little careful when we're doing it, because sometimes even I as a parent, when I'm looking at writing, I expect my kindergarten to be a writer the way I am or a writer the way I was, and sometimes I'll say, this is incorrect, or I'll take the pencil and erase it, and before you know it, the paper looks like we're playing kickball with it, like we're actually rolling it and playing kickball with it. So when I say that, we have to be a little careful when we're actually correcting them. And say, for instance, if you're working on narrative writing, and you're opinion, because opinion is a very difficult writing. So when you're speaking on opinion paper, and you're helping them at home, and you want to work on opinion, say for your skill focus is going to be opinion writing. So you'll talk to them about an opinion. What is an opinion? Do we have one? Why do we have an opinion? How do you recognize an opinion? So as you're grading the paper, what you will probably do is not focus so much on the spelling, but on the skill at hand. You're talking to them about opinion paper. And then when you start working with them at home about maybe when to use is and are, then when you see their paper and they're not using it correctly, then you'll pull out and say you should use is here and you should use are then. So you don't want to just shun something that hasn't really been taught to them. And that's why if you look in your folder, also at your desk, you'll see an orange paper or a white one, and it has the writing standards K through 5. So you will actually see which each grade level needs. You ready?
All right, and just to piggyback off of what she was saying, it also too depends on what stage of the writing process they're in. If you're working with your child and they're just trying to revise the writing to make it sound better, then you're just going to focus on the actual content and the details that they're writing. But if you're in the editing process, that's when you teach them how to spell things correctly and how to correct things for grammar.
When you get to the first grade, then at that time, depending on your student, but by the first grade, they can begin to take that picture and that one word, that thought, form a sentence with it. And then you start talking to them about beginning and ending of a sentence, a subject and a predicate. By second grade, they should be able to take that same sentence and formulate it into a paragraph. By third grade, they can take that one paragraph and be able to research and get some more information and make a larger paper. By fourth grade, now they know how to research, they know how to edit, they know how to revise their own paper, and they can start writing a paper. And then by the time they get to fifth grade, they can actually be able to, you give them a topic, they can go freelance off that topic. And they can write without someone giving them, a whole standards, a checklist. We want them to have a rubric, but we also want them to be able to write on their own, let their thoughts flow.
Also, too, for especially the younger writers, it's okay to give them some support because we want to give them something to work with first as we get them to work on their own. So like on this last page here, there's actually a frame, and you can have them follow a format. And again, this is for our beginning writers. It has them just kind of follow this, fill in their thoughts, and then they can read back over it and see what it should look like as they develop as writers.
Okay, and in closing, what we're going to do is that we're going to do some resource bookmarks. Everybody has a bookmark inside of their folder. It's about vocabulary instruction. There's different things that you can do for vocabulary and things that you can do with your son or daughter at home on the back. There's some activities because vocabulary helps the writing paper because you want to see some very interesting words and words being used in the correct context. So we included that in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game on your, so I can give out some gifts. On your desk, you have some writing samples. What I would like for everyone to do is to read, take a moment, just 2 minutes, read the writing, and then talk about what you see. Okay. I have some very interesting gifts, some exciting gifts that you can do at home, like the word family game, sight words, it's a roll and read game. Now, who can tell me the 3 types of writing? 3 types of writing. There are 3 types of writing. Let's see, who can tell me? You got somebody desk now. Come on, it's in your standards. Okay.
Narrative, persuasive, and information.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Let's not forget about opinion. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's talk for a second about opinion. Tell me about opinion writing. Opinion writing goes with what type of writing? What do you think when you see opinion, what do you think about? When you read an opinion paper, you would think you're doing what? Okay. All right.
Giving your perspective in regards to whatever it's being